everyone tonight? How many of you guys have ever heard of the U.S. drug war, or the war on drugs? How many of you actually know what this pertains to? If I told you that most journalists and critics about the drug war say that we are losing or have lost this war, but most politicians and White House electives say that this war is on the downside and we're about to win or we have won, who would you believe? Why would you believe them? A lot of things that you just have to figure out for yourself and look at the hardcore evidence. But sometimes you just have to take what you can when it's presented at you the first time. Because a lot of times people just try over and over to tell you things that are far away from the truth as possible. The drug war pertains to law enforcement in the Americas to try and subdue and eliminate the flow of controlled substances in the states and other countries, as well as the untracked flow of funds and spending involved in this drug war. The substances considered illegal include, but aren't limited to, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, LSD, mushrooms, crack, methamphetamines, opiates, even though they're used in every over-the-counter or painkiller that is prescribed to those today, inhalants, and stimulants. These substances are usually abused by the user and given a desired high or effect that they try to obtain while using this drug. The drugs are illegal because of the association with the crime and uncontrollable behavior associated with each drug. These behaviors might be deemed dangerous to the person that consumes the drug or to those around them, and is usually frowned upon by society in general. Each year, thousands and thousands of drug traffickers and drug consumers are imprisoned each year because of the drug war and the association with those kinds of drugs. Even though most in this country would agree with those decisions to put the drug users into jail, let's look at one more important aspect of this war. The war on marijuana seems to be the most under fire conflict in this drug war. The drug itself is a plant that grows from the ground. It is then clipped, the bud is removed from it, and then it is lit on fire as the user consumes the smoke for the desired high. This is the most controversial aspect of the drug war, since marijuana is a non-fatal, clinically non-addictive, and in some cases medically beneficial chemical, such as for patients that suffer with glaucoma or multiple sclerosis. In some parts of the country, some states have decriminalized marijuana, and in some aspects even allowed marijuana to be used for medical purpose. Every other drug that is considered illegal requires manipulation of the original substance. Sometimes this is used as a plant that is dried up and mixed with other chemicals, dried out, cooked, or combined with other elements to make it into the substance that's preferred to be consumed. Or sometimes it's just originated from mixing a couple things, boiling a couple things here and there. But the basic line is that the original chemical or compound that's used for other drugs is not just a plant that's grown. So why even consider legalizing drugs or marijuana in the first place? Let's just look at one state in particular, California. The tax revenue benefit that legalizing weed would be in California is somewhere close to between $12 and $18 billion a year. Yet instead of receiving any of these benefits or anything of the kind, California ends up spending about $203.8 million on its current drug war and incarceration for marijuana-related offenses. All sorts of rumors and unsupported evidence have sprouted up to try and fight these drugs, particularly marijuana, that just aren't true. Some of the rumors indicate that marijuana kills brain cells. This study was based on claims that evidence found in a study that rhesus monkeys who were subjected to the smoke of the marijuana plant eventually lost enough brain cells that it made the monkeys keel over and die. What they don't tell you is that these monkeys were put to a gas mask that just pumped marijuana smoke into their faces for up to 4 hours a day, for up to 5 times a week. This killed enough brain cells so the monkeys become unresponsive and eventually die because of the lack of oxygen to the brain. There's no evidence that anyone in the history of mankind has ever died from a direct related cause from cannabis use. For a 70-kilogram person to overdose on marijuana, he would have to consume around 70 grams of marijuana, which is technically impossible to smoke or consume by the time your body digests it, and that is 5,000 times more than a person needs to feel a desired effect that marijuana may give them. The Institute of Medicine's 1984 report about marijuana states that there is no evidence that smoking marijuana exerts a permanently deleterious effect on the normal cardiovascular systems. This means that this study says that marijuana does not cause any long-term damaging cardiovascular or lung-related effects. After all is said and done, there's absolutely no evidence that marijuana has caused any deaths, has caused cancer in any way, shape, or form, or that it is addictive and long-term effects are irreversible. These all claims are not true. But when you come down to it, at the end of the day, after all is said and done about the drug war, the main points to remember through all this is that the drug war will not end. These drugs have been around for centuries, maybe even millennia, that we have not been able to record. All we know is that ancient Greeks and Romans did partake in opiates and marijuana-related substances, and up until now, these prohibitions have done nothing more but provoke those drug dealers and other illegal substances to just keep flowing into America. When compared to alcohol or nicotine, though, marijuana pales in comparisons with no deaths per year and no long-term implications. The one thing that I ask of all of you is just to make sure you know the facts before you decide to choose your side in this war. Thank you.